Season 47, War number 3, and we are up against INDA. This time my team will be Onslaught, Silk and White Tiger. I will be taking path 3 in section 1, path 6 in section 2, then for mini-bosses I will be taking Onslaught, Gorr, Sandman and Bullseye, and finally that Silk boss with White Tiger. I have already shown that the Silk boss can be taken quite easily if you just bait the special 2s, so I figured I'd like to show out White Tiger for that instead of Silk this time around. Up first here we have a Wong on the electric defense and spaced armor nodes, and I am taking the fight with Silk. Now Wong on this node doesn't benefit from them at all, so this is essentially just a diversity placement, which seems a little bit weird since these nodes usually have some defenders that can be quite annoying. Now, basically this is a free fight for Silk. I just go for a special 2 straight up and it will be enough to take him down. Unfortunately, I did take him down while he had a bar of power, so Silk now has that crossfight active, but that shouldn't be a problem for her next fight, though more on that in a little bit. Now, next up here we have a Korg on the electric defense and spaced armor nodes again, and just as that Wong previously, Korg here does not benefit from the nodes one bit, and that makes this a free fight for Onslaught, though Korg on basically most nodes is quite a free fight for him. If Korg tries to shrug off any of Onslaught's debuffs, including the stun from the parry mastery, Onslaught will just inflict a passive version instead, giving you easy openings whenever you need them, and Korg, well, the other real issue he has left at that point is the rock shield damage if you throw in mediums or specials, or heavy attacks. And that said, the first medium and first light attack of Onslaught are non-contact, so you will not have to worry about that damage at all, so long as you don't throw your second medium, that is. Now a single special 1 into a special 2 here was enough to just finish out the fight. A little bit chip damage from blocking a hit or 2, but that's completely fine. Onslaught is honestly just a powerhouse of a champion, both on defense and offense. He has so much utility, and he's not lacking on damage either, so you'll likely see much more from him going forward this season. Now next up here we have a Fixit on the prowess build-up unblockable and superior specials node, and I am taking this fight with Silk. Now thanks to the crossfight here, I will be able to push Fixit to special 2 a lot faster, just skipping the special 1, which is the biggest threat here. Now Silk does have the auto evade to deal with any potential special 1s here, however, Fixit can inflict those disorient debuffs on special activation, and those can prevent Silk's evade from working. Which is why I'm doing my absolute best here to only push Fixit to his special 2s, which I can dex without any issues. Fight goes down in roughly 40 seconds, no issues at all, and a full health finish, but had Fixit thrown some of those special 1s, it could have gotten scary. That said, I still went in relying on Silk's auto evade, and just having the confidence to take fights like these goes a long way. Now, already on to the next fight. Here we have a Mojo on the prowess build-up unblockable and passively special nodes, and once again I am using Silk here. Now Mojo is a pushover for Silk, since she doesn't benefit from the dexterity mastery. She has no buffs that she would get unless the node says otherwise, so you never have to really worry about Mojo's degeneration. That said, you do not want to push him to 5 of those follower stacks either, otherwise he will start inflicting the hater buffs, and those do still trigger on Silk since she isn't buff immune. That said, Mojo here had no chance to even get to 5 followers since the fight was over so quickly. Or I guess I should say 5 million followers, since that is what the persistent charges represent. Either way, next up here we have an Onslaught on the power snack and one too many hits mini-boss node, and I am taking the fight with Silk. My game plan here was to build up to my special 3 and then do the special 3 rotation to nuke him down. However, I noticed that he was placed here with the recoil masteries, so I opted to use my special 2 instead for a faster fight. Now Onslaught is quite a scary defender, especially with the defense tactic due to that unblockable special 1. However, Silk's auto evade will deal with it if I ever miss the dex. Now, one last thing to really worry about here is, well, the crush charge that he gets. I need to keep an eye on it, and whenever he gets it, I need to make sure I don't even try to block, even by accident. And yeah, that's about all there is to it. The power snack node never triggers due to Silk not benefiting from dex. The one too many hits node doesn't really matter since the special 1 animation on Onslaught takes so long that the power sting basically just expires as soon as the special animation is over. Was able to close out the fight here with Silk with full health thanks to some free willpower healing from those power stings. Now the fight is a little bit scary due to the special 1, and I did mess up the dex at one point as you saw the evade trigger, but that said, if you ever do take the matchup and you do lose your evade, just dance around for a bit, wait for the evade to come back before pushing him to another bar, and you are safe to bait it again. Now, next up here we have a Gorr on the one I opened and make a stand mini-boss node, and I'm taking this fight with White Tiger. Now, I had tried this matchup once during the off-season and it didn't go too well. I wasn't really sure how to use her back then, and even now I'm still trying to figure out the best rotation I could use here. And I gotta say, I'm not taking this fight the best possible way. To start off with, I did miss a dashback and I got comboed for it. Luckily Gorr only threw 2 hits into me, both of which were criticals by the way, which was nice, but the resulting debuffs were just shrugged off by White Tiger's abilities. Now essentially, the way you probably should take this fight is just ignore your special 1 completely, just spam special 2s over and over, and that's about it. My mistake here with the first special 2 was that I didn't knock him down beforehand, so I lost on a lot of damage on the special 2, which also meant I lost out on a lot of power gain from the Mystic power back boosts. However, now that I got the cycle going properly, a couple special 2s back to back, and Gorr just got completely melted. Now, had the fight lasted a little bit longer, I would have been able to heal back up to full by stealing Gorr's regeneration with that bleed debuff, but that's quite alright, we are not really pushing this war. So, even if I did lose some health, it's not gonna cost me a potion, I'm just not gonna heal her up for the boss. Then next up we have a Sandman here on the Aspect of Evolution mini-boss node, and I'm taking the fight with Silk. Now, Sandman is a tactic defender, but as we have seen before, that doesn't matter for Silk. I will either dex the specials or have the auto evade deal with them, which means I can't really push Sandman to his special 2, since those decelerate debuffs can prevent the evade. So to start off with, I bait a couple special 1s, climb up to my special 3, and now I do the triple fury special 3 rotation, which will nuke this guy down with a lot of overkill as well. Now this guy is tankier on this node than a Mangog would be, who's the more common placement, but still a rank 3 7-star Silk boosted. Yeah, she has more than enough damage to deal with this. I could potentially nuke down 2 of his health bars with a single special 3 rotation like this, so basically any champion here you can reliably stun, Silk is just gonna mess them up. Now the fight was quite simple, as it usually is, but Silk is always fun to use in war. I will have plenty of cool fights coming up in the upcoming wars. Anyways, next up here we have a Bullseye on the Conflictor, Prowess Puncture and Combat Dashable Prowess mini-boss node, and I am taking the fight with Onslaught. Now going in, I wasn't really sure what to expect here. I simply just wanted to know if he would be capable of taking this fight, even with all the debuffs he inflicts. and I gotta say, it's a lot to keep track of, but if you do everything properly, he works very well here. To quickly try to explain what's going on here, basically, since I'm constantly pushing Bullseye to his special 1, he constantly has the evade ready, which allows him to shrug off my parry stun, allowing me to get the long pause off with my heavy attacks basically all the time. On top of that, the cap of 10 on Onslaught's daunted effects works separately for both the debuffs and the passives, so as you can see here, I already have 14 of them up in total. The effects of them all stack with each other, so the more I get here, the harder my specials will hit. Daunted effects increase the damage the opponent takes during Onslaught's special attacks here, and basically bypassing the cap like this has some neat results. This special 2, the Degeneration, even without a full ramp up, was dealing 60,000 damage per second, and yeah, that was a decent finish. Also, just to add, Onslaught reduces the potency of the opponent's bleed effects by 150%, which is why you weren't seeing any instant bleed damage there. Onslaught simply doesn't care for it. Now, next up we have the final fight of this war, the Silk boss with White Tiger, and yeah, I am going in without healing up to full, which normally would be a big no-no, but for this war we don't care. So essentially my game plan here is to just push Silk to her special 2s constantly and bait those out instead of the special 1s. I can next the special 2 just fine, so the Daunted and the Root doesn't matter. All I need to do is just repeat this over and over. I'm only gonna be throwing my own special 2s for damage. I will not be relying on my special 1 or the Power Steel, since you can't really get a good rotation going here. For one, the Mystic Powerback boosts don't work against Science champions, so that's not gonna be any use. And since you really don't want Silk throwing her special 1s, I can't really try to Power Steal her constantly with the special 1s, because that just risks her getting that special 1 and throwing it immediately. That means my damage output will suffer due to not getting those Fury buffs active, at the very least not all of them at once, but that's fine. As you can see, even with a single Fury, the bleed is hitting very hard. Couple special 2s, and if I can get a couple with more than just a single Fury buff, this Silk is gonna melt quite quickly, though I'm not winning any races here. 2 Furies, special 2 with the Power Steel, I get a nice chunk of power back, since White Tiger's Power Steel is also based on the amount of Fury buffs she has. She can really spam those specials fairly often, even against an unideal matchup as we see here. Now for some of the special 2s I am not getting the passive precision by dashing at Silk, and while I'm not really doing it on purpose, I'm also not trying to get the precisions either. And the main reason for that is I don't really care for it too much. It would make the fight faster and allow me to hit harder with the specials, but also I don't want to disrupt the rhythm trying to do something that I don't need to do. I would rather throw an extra special 2 here and there than do the fight faster, riskier. So I am trying to get the solo here for the content, so that's what I'm gonna be focusing on only. Now, there Silk was basically getting to her special 3 over and over again, stacking up way too many of those Daunteds, and normally that would be a death sentence, but if the special can't touch you, it doesn't matter. Now, once Silk hit that 15% mark for the power gain buff from White Tiger's dupe ability, the fight was basically over, since I was just gaining special 2 after special 2 after special 2, and while it wasn't exactly a clean fight, I did get the solo, and yeah, that's not really a showcase of White Tiger, it's more so just showing that you can use basically any champion to take Silk bosses out. She's not all that bad after all, and I'm a little bit embarrassed I died to her last season. I was just too focused on the tactics and instead not worrying about, well, what I should be doing, I guess. As for the results, we did end up losing the war as expected. 29 to 60. 60 was quite a few more deaths than I expected, but yeah, we don't really care. We went pushing and it's fine.